Hey guys, so now we're going to start this unit on quadratic functions, how to solve them various ways. Hopefully you're somewhere comfortable. You learned and have learned about solving them by factoring, and so now we're going to solve them by square root. All right. So factor, oh, not what I wanted. Crazy. Let's try the highlighter. Highlighter. All right, so you've done factoring, and so now we're going to do square root. All right, there's 5 ways to solve a quadratic function. There's several ways, just like there's several ways to get your best friend's house, or several ways to go somewhere, because sometimes there's construction, sometimes there's a wreck, sometimes you're coming from the grocery store, sometimes you're coming from your house, and you can take different roads. And so there's different ways to arrive at the correct answer. Some ways always work no matter what, they're just longer, and some ways are quote unquote easier, but don't always work. All right, so if you're a step person, we're going to isolate the square, then we're going to take the square root. The square and the square root are inverse operations, just like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. When we take the square root, we cannot forget a plus minus. Then we're going to solve each equation and we're going to check our solutions. So let's do this guy. Back black. All right, so we want the square. We want that x squared all by himself. So we're going to add 36 to both sides. We get x squared equals 36. Then we need to take the square root. And when we take the square root, we get x equals, the square root of 36 is 6. But when you take the square root, do not forget plus minus. And so this is our answer. I want to check it because I want to show you. So if we do 6 squared minus 36, do we get 0? Well, 6 squared is 36 minus this 36 equals 0. 36 minus 36 is 0. That's a crazy smiley face, but it's a smiley face. Smiley thing connected. All right, let's do negative 6. All right, negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Positive 36 minus 36 is 0. There we go. So they both work. So this is our answer. Plus or minus 6. All right, let's just do here. We need the x squared all by himself. So we're going to subtract 1. And we get 9x squared equals 2 minus 1 is 1. Then that 9 is being multiplied, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by 9 on both sides, and so we get x squared equals 1 over 9. To get rid of that x squared, we're going to take the square root. Excuse me. When we take the square root, we always do plus minus. Square root 1 over 9, but we need to see if we can simplify that at all. So the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 9 is 3. So we really have plus 1/3 and negative 1/3 as our answer. And so if we plug it in here, it's going to work. All right, let's try this guy. So here, let's add 25. So we get 16x squared equals 25. Then that 16 is being multiplied, so we're going to divide by it. So we get x squared equals 25 over 16. We need to get rid of that x squared, so we're going to take the square root. When you take the square root, you always do plus minus, and so we have the square root of 25 over 16. Well, the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 16 is 4. So what we really have is plus minus 5/4. So we have 5/4 and we have negative 5/4 is our answer. All right, notice the ones we did before, x squared was by himself. The term was by himself. Now we've got parentheses. So don't do anything with that 1. We got to get rid of the square first. So we have z minus 1 equals, anytime you take the square root, you do plus minus, and the square root of 64 is 8. So we have two equations here. We have z minus 1 equals negative 8, and we have z negative 8 minus 1 equals positive 8. All right, and so on those steps, we need to solve both equations. Then here we're going to add 1 to both sides. So we get z equals 9. Here we'll add, oh, we do not, because this is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 is not 9, it is negative 7. Sorry guys. Add 1 to both sides. So we get z equals 9. All right, but I want to check it. So negative 7 minus 1 squared, we want to see if that's 64. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 8, that's negative 8 squared, is 64, so we're happy. Then here we're going to do 9 minus 1 squared equals 64. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64, so we're happy. So both of those work, negative 7 and 9. All right, 3x squared plus 5 equals 53. So we're going to subtract 5. We get 3x squared equals 53 minus 5, 2, 48. Here's my calculator. I want to. All right, then that 3 is being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 3. So I get x squared equals 16. I need to get rid of that square, so I'm going to take the square root. Now, always put a plus minus when you take the square root. And the square root of 16 is 4. And if we plug it in, we'll get it'll work out. All right, here, there's parentheses, and there's nothing over here like being added or subtracted, or nothing in front that we'd maybe have to multiply or divide. So let's take the square root. Oh my goodness, sorry guys. All right, so 2x minus 1 equals plus minus the square root of 27. All right, 27 is not a perfect square. So what we need to do is break it down. 27 is 9 times 3, and I chose 9 because 9 is a perfect square, and the square root of 9 is 3. So the square root of 9 is 3 comes out, but that 3 stays in jail. Equals 1. All right, and then I brought everything else down. I'm going to add 1. So I get 2x equals 1 plus or minus 3 square root 3. These guys can't talk because one has the square root and one is a regular number. 3 square root of 3 is actually a number. So 3 square root 3. Like if you type that in your calculator, it's 5.19 blah blah blah. It's like a whole bunch of numbers. All right, so this 2 is being multiplied, so we're going to divide. So what we get is x equals 1 plus or minus 3 square root 3 over 2. And I want to show you. I'm just hanging out on my couch making you a video. All right, 1 plus 3 square root 3. I want to show you that that is like an actual number. All right, it's crazy, but it's an actual number. And then I want to show you that 1 minus 3 square root 3 divided by 2 is an actual number. So it's negative 2. So it's like 3 and negative 2. Not exactly 3 and not exactly 2, but it's right here. Let's subtract 54. So we get 3x plus 4 squared equals negative 49. We're not going to panic. We know about complex numbers. Take the square root. So we get 3x plus 4 equals plus or minus, because you took the square root, and then negative 49 will be 7i. Then subtract 4. They can't talk. So you have 3x equals negative 4 plus or minus 7i. This 3 is being multiplied, so we need to divide. So we get x equals negative 4 plus or minus 7i over 3. Which I am aware means nothing to you, like, conceptually. But this quadratic, he's like somewhere up there, so it never crosses the x-axis. And there you go. Okay, so go work on your homework. Go back and watch the video if you need to pause it and work it out as you're working with me. And I will talk to you later. Bye.